Hey guys, Jay here. I know, why the sudden name change? I don't remember if I introduced myself as Jay last video, but I think I did. The reason for that is because I want to legally change my name, so I'm going to be getting into the habit of referring to myself as Jay during the opening of these videos. So the book today we are going to be discussing, I'm going to be discussing, is None of the Above by I.W. Gregorio. Here's the cover of it, off of Goodreads. I'm so sorry about this wall-looking thing here. My camera setup's not all that great right now. I'm also in a car. I'm going to stick true to my always reviewing like 5 seconds after finishing the book so that the book is still fresh in my head. So I'm in a car. Sorry. So I rate this book a 9 out of 10. It is a very compelling book. I loved it. It's fairly short. It's not too long. I read it on my iPad and zoomed in the words, so it was like 600 pages. But it's probably only about a 300-page book, and it was a fairly short read. It was amazing. I loved it, honestly. Now, I'm going to read to you the synopsis and get into the story. A groundbreaking story about a teenage girl who discovers she was born intersex, and what happens when her secret is revealed to the entire school. Incredibly compelling and sensitively told, None of the Above is a thought-provoking novel that explores what it means to be a boy, a girl, or something in between. What if everything you knew about yourself changed in an instant? Try saying that 3 times fast. When Kristen Latimer is voted homecoming queen, it seems like another piece of her ideal life has fallen into place. She's a champion hurdler with a full scholarship to college, and she's madly in love with her boyfriend. In fact, she's decided that she's ready to take things to the next level with him. But Kristen's first time isn't the perfect moment she's planned. Something is very wrong. A visit to the doctor reveals the truth. Kristen is intersex, which means that though she outwardly looks like a girl, she has male chromosomes, not to mention boy parts. Dealing with her body is difficult enough, but when her diagnosis, I said diagnostic, her diagnosis is leaked to the whole school, Kristen's entire identity is thrown into question. As her world unravels, can she come to terms with her new self? The story, as you can hear, is based on a girl named Kristen who found out she's intersex her senior year of high school. She's 18 at the time, and the diagnosis is leaked to the entire school, and everybody is bullying her, hagging on her for being a guy. But let's backtrack a little bit. Give me just a moment here. So, years prior to the book starting, Kristen becomes motherless. Her mom dies of severe ovarian cancer. It was cancer in her cervix, and it's still sore subject with the both of them. The C word, which they'll refer to throughout the book, is cancer. And, well, as you can see, that the book starts out with homecoming. They have homecoming. She's with her boyfriend Sam. She wants to go to the next level. Thing is, her first time at sex is left to be desired. It hurts, it's bad. So she goes to a doctor, to a gynecologist that one of her best friends, V, recommends. They do a couple of tests and they found out that she's intersex. She is a girl outwardly, but she is missing a womb, uterus. She doesn't have ovaries. She does have a slight vaginal opening, though it is not complete. And she has testicles, gonads. And, sorry, I just said it wrong. it was starting to blur into one word, gonads and testicles. And so she is trying to deal with that. It's the whole sort of how she's trying to deal with it in the coming months ahead. She ends up, it ends up eating her from the inside out, and she ends up telling two of her two best friends, Faith and V, who one of them ends up leaking it all throughout the school. Well, to Sam, who is Kristen's boyfriend first. Her boyfriend ends up dumping her and left with utter despair. He says it in such like a hated voice, stay away from me, everything. She starts being the target of bullying. Spray paint on the lockers, stay away faggot, you know, all that, all the hate, which I'm not too okay with. It unsettled me a little reading all that, but it also reminded me of the book Keeping You a Secret from Julianne Peters. Although most people don't like to read that kind of stuff, it is a thing that does happen or used to happen, and in some schools still does happen. There is still homophobia in schools and the like nowadays still. But moving on, she stays home from school for a long time, self-reflecting. She gets depression. She has depression that crushes her, and she's constantly questioning, am I a girl? Am I a girl? Am I a guy? And she tries to keep reassuring herself that she's a girl, but with everybody else's reactions, she's not too sure of herself. The story goes through, she finds a support group, she makes new friends, she reconciles with old friends, and I'm not going to say that the ending is happy, but it's more of a neutral ending. It's something kind of like what happened in Keeping You a Secret. The ending left off almost like a cliffhanger, but it was a satisfying ending, and we can imagine where she goes from there. Personally, I think it was horrible, all the hate going around, spray painting the lockers. It's very cliche, but it is something that does happen. Everything that was going on, she was being cyberbullied as well. Somebody had made a fake account to harass her, and it was just horrible. Myself, I identify as non-binary. I don't think of myself as a girl or a boy. So I don't really have too much of an issue there. Yes, I outwardly look like a girl. I have boobs. I have everything else. But I just don't really care too much about gender myself. So if I were in Kristen's shoes, finding out I was intersex, I'd be like, okay. That's great. But just the fact that everybody had been bullying her, I would not have been okay with it. She cries a lot in the book. The girl cries a lot in the book. Not many people, as you will see in the book, stand up for her in school. Because the spray paint actually happened during homeroom. She had gotten to the school, put her stuff away in her locker, and went to homeroom. And then the locker was tagged during that about maybe 15-20 minute time period. And it was just someone that she knew, Darren, tried to steer her away from it, but nobody ultimately stood up for her, except for probably one instance. And that was during the cyberbullying. I don't really have too much to say about this. Most things I said probably a lot of things during the Keeping You a Secret review by Julianne Peters. A lot of the bullying and other harassment that happens in that book happens here. The spray painting, people harassing, body checking her, knocking her over to the ground, and the like. And considering that the girl lives in a particularly small town, a lot of people know about it, some college students, especially if they have siblings in the high school. The story goes along okay. It is very thought-provoking. It's you really get into her head, her depression, her questioning her own gender identity, of who she is, what she is, which is, I think, really important with a book like this. And I don't really have too much more to say. She does end up fairly well off in the end of the story. You'll see what happens throughout, but I don't want to leave too many spoilers. And some things are predictable. She does end up with someone. It is a romance. It is a teen romance novel. She does end up with someone at the end of the book. I won't say, only because it's kind of predictable. Sorry about the camera shaking. I could tell who it was right away, who she was going to end up with. But for once, I would like the story for whoever they start off with is someone that they end off with. But that's just an opinion of mine. So again, a 9 out of 10. No spoilers, obviously. It's just a very basic story. It's her entire thoughts, what happens to her, the bullying, the harassment, just the aftermath of when she is diagnosed with AIS. Honestly, I really would love to see more of the story, like a little snippet epilogue thing, but the author, I.W. Gregorio, did not make one, which I'm kind of sad about. But I'm satisfied with the ending. I am. I just wish a little more of what would happen and how she deals with the harassment at school and everything else. Because in the book, I don't know if I mentioned this, in the book, she does take an extended leave from school because she gets surgery. She gets a gonadectomy to take out her testicles. And so she is at home, she has extended leave, staying at home, out of school. So it shows a little bit of the harassment in the beginning, but it doesn't really further it. It's more of herself questioning herself than anything else, than her dealing with the harassment, which I would have liked to see a little bit more. But enough of that. That is what I think of the book. Sorry, I kind of blanked there. None of the Above by I.W. Gregorio. I recommend it highly. I think it's an amazing book. It's very thought-provoking. If you need something to read, it's not too long. It's like 300 pages, so what? You can knock it out. If you're an avid reader, you can knock it out in about maybe 4-5 hours. But that's all I really have to say about that. I don't have much time left, and, well, I don't know what the next book I'm going to be reading is. I started reading Sanctum by Madeleine Wu, the second book to